Somehow I think Mark would like it a bit louder than that, eh? Just before we begin his service, could I ask you to make sure that your mobile phone is turned off or turned to silent, please? We're gathered here this morning to remember, to honour a very special man in our lives, Mark Cornelius Dusseldorp. In doing so, we're all reminded that our lives are deeply interconnected, shaped by many moments, relationships and experiences. And from the time that we're born until the time we pass away, and in Mark's case, it was 57 years. Today is a meaningful expression of love and support for Mark, beloved son of Kurt and Tilda, father of Roxanne and Delia, and grandfather to their children. A dear friend, obviously, to many. By your presence here, you pay tribute to Mark's life, showing love and respect for the man he was and is, and the place that he holds in your heart always. We also come together to offer comfort and strength and support to his family. And at times like this, words frequently fall short of what we really want to say. Yet we find ourselves not only wanting to express our sorrow, but to honour the life that Mark lived and the memories that he leaves behind. He was a very private man, someone who didn't seek the spotlight, but instead he walked his own path in a quiet and steady way. He was particular, someone who took care in what he did and how he did it, a trait that spoke of pride, precision, and a strong sense of self. He could be stubborn, I believe, but that determination was part of what made him dependable, someone who would see things through no matter what. He was courteous and kind and respectful always, with a quiet smile that said more than words could often say. A hard worker, reliable to his core, the kind of man who never missed a gig, never let anyone down, and whose word truly meant something. Do you want me to speak a bit louder, Kurt? Is that all right? Music was where Mark truly came alive, a talented musician and skilled sound engineer. He had an ear for detail and a gift for bringing sound to life, often working behind the scenes. He played a vital role in creating something others could enjoy, never seeking recognition, simply doing what he did best. Outside of his work, Mark found joy in the simple things, the freedom of motorbikes. He loved transit vans and time spent doing what he enjoyed in his own way. I'm going to share some of the good and happy moments of Mark's life, and I'd like to call upon his great mate and band member Mike to come up and share a few words about Mark's life. You've done a great job, Mike, too, this week. You've been under a lot of pressure. You've held everything together and put today together. Thanks so much.
Dussie, Mark Dusseldorp. That's what we knew him as, and that's how he would often sign his name. I first met Mark when I just opened up a mechanical workshop in Lawson Crescent, Coffs Harbour, around 1989-90. I didn't know many people starting out as a new mechanic in town. One day, Mark popped into our workshop, and there he was, tall, dark, handsome, and wearing a cool black hat. I was having a jam in the workshop playing guitar with my then 13-year-old son, learning bass, and my 16-year-old daughter, Karina, who was playing drums. Consequently, the three of us ended up forming a band called Focus, and the local media made a big deal of it at the time. I was soon introduced to Mark's partner, Cassandra, and his two beautiful daughters, Roxanne and Delia. I was then introduced to Mark's mum and dad, Kurt and Tilda. They operated an upholstery business, Jetty Upholsterers, for many years. Two of the nicest people you could ever meet, and the rest is history. Here they still are. There is no stopping these two. A strength that reflects in giving me just that, strength, and I therefore return the favour. So getting back to jamming with my son and daughter, Mark soon picked up on Corey's beginner technique and offered to steer her in the right direction accordingly. I soon went on to realising Mark's ability as a drummer. It was like, goodness, when he hit those drums were hit. I've got cheap drum kit reference. Just quickly, you know, you've got top brands in drum kits, Tama, Ludwig, Pearl, Premier. Well, if you were to give Mark one of those cheap drum kits, honestly, you'd have to duck. There'd be bits of drum flying everywhere. He would hit them and he'd just kill it. He'd absolutely kill it. And then Mark will come up and he goes, I warned you. I warned you. So from then on, we only presented him with the best of kits, and his kit, which is in the band room, is still in the band room. It's old, it's done every big block gig for more than 20 years, and it's still as solid as a rock. This all led into some of the best live jams and parties at the back of the Lawson Crescent Workshop, incorporating some of the finest musicians on the coast. Rob Berry, Rhett O'Hara, Dave Varley, Damien Towner, Darren Oberleiter, Scott Lazark, just to name a few, many of which Mark and I went on to play live in a band we formed as Big Block Rock. I was literally in awe playing with all these fine musicians, all starting from Mark. Mark was educated and accustomed to all aspects in the art of drumming, including from his early days in the Coastal Pipe Band, blues, reggae, rock, etc. Mark was without doubt one of, if not the best rock drummer on the Coffs Coast. Mark played in many rock groups in the 80s, including Jamaica Rock, which I was kindly reminded of by Cassandra this week. Also in bands Y, Dingo Creek, including local popular band Waterfront, who headlined in the 2CS Battle of the Bands with the very talented Dave Varley, Gary Farrell, Nita Mann, Jeff Swan and Jeannie Page at the time. They won the Battle of the Bands comp in Grafton and came second in the Coffs Battle of the Bands at the Hoey Moey, taking out some big acts. It was a huge deal at the time. Mark was also a drummer in a band they called Intermusic, previously known as Thunderdome, also with Jeannie and Dave Varley, including the very talented Pete and Darsha Gilbert. Pete and Darsha went on to form a well-known band, the Happy Cannibals, with Mark and the also very talented Darren Fuge Oberleiter on drums. Mark continued drumming in bands and went on to join and form an originals band with myself and Rob Berry called Tunnel Vision. In the video there will be a picture of a red beach buggy and there's the three of us, and that was basically our band logo, Tunnel Vision. We were even nominated by 2JJ's award-winning Unearth program and played our original song Richter Scale to 3.5 million people across Australia. Tunnel Vision eventually transformed into Big Block Rock. Consequently, Rob Berry and I had the privilege of playing in Big Block Rock band with Mark professionally for around 25 years straight. We specialised in pub rock, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Akadaka, etc. And the Big Block Rock name came from the fact that we used to rehearse in my workshop and I would build big block V8s. And people think I named the band. I didn't. I was just the guy that built the engines and they decided to name the band Big Block Rock. During this time, Mark worked with an amazing family business with Graham and Joe Lowry and their son Matt called Bellingen Valley Sound. Mark worked with them as their sound engineer, roadie and stage manager. I also had the privilege of working with them, doing stage work and as stage technician. That's a fancy description for a roadie. We did staging for top names such as Billy Thorpe, the Ball Sisters, Nathan Cavallari, Uncle Jed, Becky Cole and many more. The very talented musician and sound engineer and our band's frontman at the time, Nigel Harrington, also worked with Bellingen Valley Sound. We were a formidable team run by the amazing Lowry family. When COVID-19 appeared, with all its uncertainty, restrictions and lockdowns, twice, we decided to give Big Block Rock a break, at least until the COVID chaos settled. Since then, we have only done private gigs, including our May the 4th Be With You jams in the Batcave. Mark and Rob, since the Big Block days, played in local Yulong band The Misfits, and Rob Berry also performs solo gigs at the Yulong Ex-Services Club and the award-winning Yulong Mountain Cafe, run by the amazing duo Vincent Katie and their team. I've always said that Rob doesn't need a band. He is that talented, he can play anything, and usually all at the same time. As mentioned in my post, riding the hideous journey with Mark in hospital every day till the end is something that will stay with me for life. You fought a gallant and courageous battle, Mark, and with utmost dignity. You wonderful man. You never complained, and if you did, you apologised, and you were always polite and courteous to me and all the hospital staff, the wonderful hospital staff that did their best to keep you going and make you as comfortable as possible. Sorry, but F word, cancer. A special thank you to Mark's friends within the Yulong Mountain Village. Also his close friends from local Yulong band, the Mountain Misfits. Rob, Keith, Vince, Deborah, Aidan, and the other band members. Also those who have reached out, including Jeannie, Heather, Deborah, Katie, and Vinnie. Also fellow Big Block band members in stage names, again, Rob, Chuck, Berry, Dean, Dino Rapley, Rod, Rapper, Rapasada, Nigel, Zeta, Harrington, Gary, Fingers, Faruja, and myself, Mike the Mechanic, Camilleri. Not just fellow band members, but wonderful people. Dean Rapley reflects his sincere regards and condolences. He couldn't make it today as he was booked for a concert in Newcastle. Day at the races, Angels, Dragons, Spy versus Spy, etc. We have already made arrangements for when he gets back. Thank you to Heather Jones and Deborah Brooke, who regularly checked in on Mark in hospital and were both by his side at the time of Mark's last breath. As Keith Peterson described it, with two angels. After Mark's passing, whilst the three of us were by his side, I was verbally contemplating my next protocol in informing Kurt and Tilda. Do I call? It would be more respectful to see them in person. When lo and behold, the phone rang. It was Tilda. And she said, "Hello, Michael. Mark has passed away, hasn't he?" Well, that was it. I lost it. It was waterworks for me. I shouldn't have, but I did. It was somehow fitting in respect that I have been a pillar of strength throughout this whole process. However, being there and finally breaking down, I was surrounded by 3 pillars of strength in Tilda, Deborah and Heather. Mark wasn't only an incredible musician and fellow band member, he was a great friend, a brother. Mark said to me one day before his passing, he said that I was the brother he never had. I returned in saying it goes both ways. Mark was a special guy and somewhat outside the average person square. Like me, like many of us, I always say, thank God we're not clones. He was also a very talented and intelligent man in particular fields and an established upholsterer, also a competent sound engineer. Mark was a Mr. Fix-It, and if he couldn't fix it, he'd be on the phone to me. Mike, there's a light on in my dash. It won't go away. Rod, rapper, experienced similar requests from Mark. Sure, I helped Mark on many occasions, but he also helped me on many projects, including helping my son and I ground up restoring the black Pontiac Firebird Trans Am parked outside. That's why we brought it here today. Mark and I would go for cruises in the Trans Am like we were on top of the world. Mark had such a good soul, always with a smile. Sure, he was opinionated and he had his ways, but that is what makes us humans. Thank goodness, as I mentioned, that we're not all the same. Mark was a gentle giant of a man. One example, we were at a gig where we were commonly performing to a lot of intoxicated people. On this occasion, a guy was coming for me, wanted to beat me up because of something I apparently said on stage. Before the aggressive, intoxicated guy could get to me, Mark bear hug lifted the guy and literally carried him outside and said, I thought, what's going on here? What's Mark doing? And said, now that's option number 1. I suggest you don't return because you really don't want to experience option number 2. Lucky he was smart enough and didn't come back. Nigel and Rob may recall a similar event at the Diggers Tavern when we had to be police escorted out of the venue because of something Nigel said on stage. Yeah, there are so many stories we can share in time. Glenn, our light man, was the same. Excuse the expression, built like a brick shithouse. If anyone came at us, you were suddenly surrounded by big men. We didn't need security, we had each other. Special thank you to Graham and Joe Lowry and their son Matt for their support during this challenging time. In particular, Matt for his friendship, support and with help on legal matters, etc., as this funeral service is only part of what is needed to accommodate getting all of Mark's affairs in order. Regarding a wake or wakes, family and friends are welcome to celebrate Mark's life at Coramba Hotel, either straight after this service or this evening. No formal arrangements have been made, however, the Coramba Hotel management have been notified. That is just the start. There will be a series of events celebrating Mark's life. Keith may very well establish a get-together with fellow musicians, as he does so well. I will no doubt be celebrating Mark's life, as will Kurt and Tilda and a number of Mark's friends, all in their own special way and in their own time, all of which will undoubtedly incorporate live music. Photos in the video are the only ones that Mark agreed to. God help you if you put up or post a photo he doesn't like. Doesn't matter who it is, he would ask you to take it down, and we would. I'd say, "Mark, you're a dag. You look great in that shot." "No, I don't," he says. I'm the same with recordings of my lead breaks. They've got to be right. There's a version of Radar Love that we do with Rod Rapper on vocals, and Mark's drumming is just brilliant. But he picks out any anomalies. We are playing that version at the closing of this service, and you can have a listen and see what I mean about his drums. There's also a version of Jean Genie we did with Nigel Harrington on vocals. Brilliant vocals. Again, brilliant drumming, but Mark didn't think so. I guess we all have an element of being our own worst critics. So the video coming up is a compilation of Mark's approved images and 2 songs that Mark particularly liked. Even up until 2 weeks ago, he played Highway Star to his lovely nurses, even if the lead break wasn't quite right. I wouldn't have picked it, but it's the one Mark liked. So that's what we're playing. When watching the video, listen to Mark's drumming. He's like a train, just like our bass players. They're like that, like a train. It was a special bond that I had playing in a band with all these wonderful musicians, particularly the bond with Mark for more than 25 years. We were like that, like a train. Okay, a big block muscle car. A special thank you to Victor Rullis and his team. Victor is a passionate man who is not only a true professional, but importantly, personal and genuinely caring. Also, thank you to the passionate man that is Kyle Hands. Always there when needed. Thanks, mate. Mark was a private guy, as Victor mentioned, and may very well have opted for a more low-key farewell. However, it was Kurt and Tilda's decision. In fact, Kurt was adamant in wanting to see Mark out, in celebrating Mark's amazing life with all you wonderful people here today. A huge thank you to everyone who have made the effort to be here today, and Godspeed to those who couldn't and are able to join us live streaming, thanks to Victor Rullis, his team and Kyle. In the photo collage video coming up, the number 1 audio is Big Block playing a Deep Purple song, Highway Star. Just us in the band room or the Bat Cave with an iPhone left on. No fancy multi-recordings or whatever, multi-track. Listen to the drums, Highway Star. The second audio is my version of Apache. I hope Kurt approves. That Mark asked me to play for him the day before his angels were with him. The closing song is a Big Block rock cover of a Golden Earring song, Radar Love, with Rapper on vocals, myself, Rob and Gary. Again, listen to Mark's drumming. In closing, in the whole scheme of things, this all happened so very quickly. I always say, wake up every day and dance the polka, and enjoy every minute of every day wherever possible. Sure, life isn't all peaches and cream, but strive to make the friggin' best of every day of your life. We lived in a better world having you in our lives, Mark, and that will stay with us for life. We love you, Mark. Don't worry, the music will continue to the beat of your drums. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for that beautiful tribute. Just before we do put the photo story on, I'd like to open up the lectern now to any family or friends that would like to come up and share something about Mark. Any of his other friends in the band or mates in the band? You'd like to open up? Thank you.
Wow, that's a hell of a crowd out there. Hell of a crowd for a hell of a man. Mark Cornelius Dusseldorp, a name of distinction for a man who stood out from the crowd. It is bittersweet that we're here today and we can thank Tilda and Kurt for their son who's touched so many people and made our lives richer. Kurt and Tilda, I hope the respect for your son that is here today gives you some comfort in your loss. He was such a man. Mark is a lesson in humility. He knew what he did well and he lived with passion and commitment. He truly cared about his family and friends and he quietly supported many who wanted to play music. For me, I'm imagining a diamond in my heart, and it's made up of my memories of Dussie, and in time that diamond will shine, but while it's forming it hurts. And everyone here has a diamond-studded heart for Mark and for everyone else who's gone before. Mark's is a new one forming, so let him shine in your life. He is out there now setting up the stage. The drums are ready. Kurt and Tilda, thank you. Mark, what a life. What a friend. What an outstanding man. He is playing acoustic now and loving it. Those hands won't give him any more trouble. So let's blow some bubbles, bang some sticks. We love you, Mark. Thank you all.
So, my name's Troy. I'm going to come at it from a totally different angle for Mark. Never played in a band with him. Never even knew he was into drums until we reconnected, where he'd come and visit his mum and dad regularly, which I absolutely admired. So my mum and dad live across the road from where his mum and dad are, and we'd connect that way. It was like, hey Mark, that's you, boy. Troy, what are you doing? So you might say, where was our connection? Our connection was motorbikes at a very, very young age and Aurora High School. So we went through school together, we were great mates, and then after school we sort of lost contact. You know, we went our separate ways. So just a few quick little stories about Mark and I. When I heard that he'd left us, these were the few things that popped into my head. We raced together, Mark on his YZ80, me on my KX80, and we went to Grafton with our mum and dads, and we jostled from first to second place over the 5 or 6 races throughout the day. The 2 Coffs Harbour boys were very happy with themselves at the age of 14 or so. Mark and I would often ride our bikes from the top of, he lived at the top of Red Hill, and we'd cut a track up into the bush, and we'd head off into Bruxner Park, out through Wills's property and in that sort of area. Lots and lots of good memories with Mark and I, just the 2 of us out there on our bikes. I didn't know whether I should say this one, but I think amongst good friends, because I haven't said it to anybody else. Mark and I, we were in home economics in year 9 together, and maybe year 10. That's right, we were in the cooking class. And Mark and I were buddies. We cooked in the same bay. I'm not sure how we ended up in the cooking class. Maybe it was we both like hanging out with the girls, because there was only 2 boys in the cooking class. It was Mark and I. So we'd cook lots of different things. Each week they'd give you a different thing to cook. And on this week they said, next week, boys, you're going to be cooking bickies. And so I looked at Mark and I went, well, that'll be good. We get to have a bit of a snack. And a strange smile came across his face. And he went, yeah, we'll cook some bickies. So the next week arrived, and out of his pocket came some extra herbs that he decided we were going to put in the bickies. And I said, we're just going to put it straight in. He said, yeah, we'll put her in, we'll mix her up, and all will be well. I had no idea what he was doing. Anyway, it wasn't too long that our home science teacher had come along and was trying our bickies. Let's just say she was very, very happy with our bickies. And Mark had a big smile on his face. And there wasn't, outside of that class, it was never mentioned, and we both walked out. The teacher was very happy with the boys. They got high marks on their bickies, and I've never spoken a word of it since today. Hope that's okay, buddy. Great fella, right till the very end. I loved him. So from a young boy to later years, I can testify from my side, great man.
Hey, test 1, 2. Yeah, well, I've known Mark for at least 40 of his 57 years, and he leaves a big hole in my life, more of a vacuum, I guess. But he is handy at so many things. And, he is my mechanic. He is any sewing I need done, he is good at that. And, he's a good friend, of course. And me and him had been playing drums together for so long that it was pretty locked. You know, we knew what each other was going to do. And this whole thing happened so quick, didn't it? Like, it was only, I guess, about 6, 7 months ago that it first happened, and it's all come as a bit of a shock, hasn't it? Like, and but he'd want us to keep going, like, and not be sad. So, but I guess I got a story about when he first got to drumming. I guess it goes back to I had a friend Sam, drummer in the band Spin. He also passed away. But when he passed away, his drums sort of went to a little Ripper. And he's another fellow that passed away. So Sam's drums went to Ripper, and Mark and Ripper were good friends. And they sort of amalgamated sort of playing drums together. And so it goes way back to then, you know, like he sort of evolved from another drummer I knew. So and life goes on, is what the whole story is, I guess. We've got a plan that after he's been burnt, we're going to put his ashes in the river behind my place, like we do with Rick, another friend of mine who's passed away. Oh, dear. Anyway, so yeah, we'll let you all know when that's going to happen. And thank you all for coming along, and I'm sure you'd be impressed.
Anyone else want to share something? Thank you, Rob, Heather and Troy for keeping that secret for so long, mate. I will let you know, though, it is live stream, so that teacher might know now, mate. All right. We're going to now ask you to look up at the screen. We've got that photo story that's been put together. Thanks, Mike. Once again, thank you to Mike for putting that together. Great job. Thank you. I'd like to share with you a little poem that the girls have put together in the office, all about Mark. There are some who leave behind words and others who leave behind song. Mark was one who worked in the quiet spaces where the music was shaped all along. Not always seen, but always present, in every note clear and true. In every moment the sound came alive. There was something of Mark shining through. Though the stage may now fall silent and the final chord has been played, the music he helped bring into the world will never truly fade. For in every song remembered, in every melody that stays, there'll be echoes of Mark with us in the sound of our yesterdays. Family and friends, can I ask you to please stand now as we come to the most difficult part of our service, as we say farewell to Mark. You can stay there, Tilda, if you'd like. And now tenderly, lovingly and reverently we farewell Mark into nature's keeping. We wish Mark peace in eternity. He is now into the last sleep, free of any pain, concern and care. But his spirit will live on in all of you who loved him and appreciated the part that he played in your life. And to love someone is to risk this pain of parting. Not to love is to never have lived. The pain and the tears and the grief that you have now is the honouring of your love for Mark. And if you have any regrets today, may they be turned into gratitude for the time that you shared with Mark. And family and friends, can I ask you to respond in a moment with these words and repeat them? Mark, with our love, we let you go. Now, Mark, with memories of music that filled the air, of quiet determination and a life lived your own way. Together now, as your family and friends, we respond with those words. Mark, with our love, we let you go. And Mark, after years of hard work, steadfast commitment, now at rest, free from worry and weariness. Together now, as your family and friends, we respond with those words. Mark, with our love, we let you go. And Mark, into peace and into freedom, into the memories and love we will all carry with us always. Together now, as your family and friends, we respond. Mark, with our love, we let you go. May you go forward today with a small flickering of light in your soul. May the memories of Mark begin to bring you comfort. May the words, touch and presence of others bring you peace. And may you be blessed as you come into the chapel today and as you leave this chapel. So grateful for a life that's been lived and for Mark's legacy left behind. May you go in peace. Once again, on behalf of the family, thank you for being here. Please come back to the Coramba Hotel. But also, if you'd like to have a cup of tea and coffee and spend some time with family, with Kurt and Tilda, just outside, we can have a cup of tea and coffee with them and share some more memories of Mark. Thank you. We've got one final song, as Mike said. We'll play that now. And if there's anyone that would like to come up and touch Mark's coffin, you're welcome to do so.
My hands right on the wheel. There's a voice in my head that drives me up the moon. My baby calls and I need your hair. I look out fast forward and I'm shifting again. When she's lonely and long and gets worse, she says to me, I'm coming in, I'm on the bus. Read aloud. me half the time. And I'm beating to a new sunrise. When I'm lonely and I'm so happy enough. You said the comfort come again, I'm in love. When I'm falling out, we got there, let's go, where I love. I love you.